For decades, the city of Berlin stood as a silent witness to one of the greatest divisions in modern history. After the end of World War II, Germany was broken, not only in buildings and streets, but in identity and soul. Berlin, once a proud and united capital, was cut into two separate worlds. One side lived under democracy and open markets, while the other lived under strict control, constant surveillance, and fear. In 1961, the East German government made a decision that would scar the city forever. Overnight, soldiers rolled out barbed wire through streets, neighborhoods, and even across families' doorsteps. Soon after, concrete walls replaced the wire. Watchtowers rose into the sky, and armed guards were ordered to shoot anyone who tried to escape. The Berlin Wall was born, not as a defense against enemies, but as a prison to keep people inside. Life in East Berlin became a daily struggle. Every letter was read, every phone call was monitored, and every movement was recorded. Children were taught what to think, not how to think. Many people learned to stay silent, to hide their true opinions, and to pretend loyalty to a system they no longer believed in. Meanwhile, just a few meters away, West Berlin lived in freedom, with music, bright lights, and opportunities that East Germans could only imagine. Families suffered the most. Brothers waved to sisters from across the wall. Parents grew old without ever seeing their children again. Weddings, funerals, and final goodbyes were missed forever. The wall did not only divide land, it divided hearts. By the 1980s, cracks began to appear in the system. The economy of East Germany was weak, and people were losing hope. Across Eastern Europe, change was already happening. In Poland, Hungary, and other countries, citizens demanded reform and freedom. East Germans watched closely and began to believe that change might also be possible for them. Peaceful protests started quietly. At first, only a few brave people gathered in churches to pray for peace. Then the crowds grew. Every Monday, thousands walked through the streets holding candles, chanting, "We are the people." They did not carry weapons. Their power came from unity, courage, and numbers. The government was afraid, but also confused. The old methods, fear and violence, were no longer working. Soldiers hesitated. Police officers looked into the eyes of their own neighbors and family members among the protesters. The system was shaking. On November 9, 1989, everything came to a head. That evening, Günter Schabowski, a tired and poorly informed government spokesman, stood before cameras during a routine press conference. Journalists asked about new travel laws. Nervously flipping through his notes, Schabowski announced that East Germans would soon be allowed to travel abroad. A journalist pressed him, "When will this be allowed?" Schabowski hesitated. Then he spoke the words that would echo through history. "As far as I know, effective immediately." Television stations broadcast the statement live. Radios repeated it again and again. In homes across East Berlin, people stared at their screens in shock. Immediately? Could it be true? Had the wall finally opened? Without waiting for confirmation, people poured into the streets. Old men, young students, mothers with children, all moved toward the border crossings. The cold air was filled with excitement, fear, and disbelief. No one knew what would happen. At the checkpoints, guards faced an impossible situation. They had no orders. Their superiors were silent. In front of them stood tens of thousands of citizens demanding passage, not with anger, but with determination. The guards were trained to control crowds, but not to face history knocking at the gate. Hours passed. The pressure increased. Finally, close to midnight, a single decision changed the world. A guard raised the barrier and let the people pass. What followed was pure human emotion. Tears streamed down faces hardened by years of fear. Strangers embraced as if they had known each other all their lives. People crossed into West Berlin, where crowds welcomed them with applause, flowers, music, and champagne. Soon, people climbed onto the wall itself. Hammers and chisels appeared. Each strike against the concrete felt like an udar against oppression. Pieces of the wall fell, not because they were weak, but because the fear that held them up had disappeared. The fall of the Berlin Wall did not just reunite a city, it reshaped the world. Within months, communist governments across Eastern Europe collapsed. In 1990, Germany officially became one nation again. A new chapter of history began. Today, only fragments of the wall remain. Tourists take photos. Children play nearby. But the story it tells remains powerful. It teaches us that no system built on fear can last forever, and no wall is strong enough to stop people who believe in freedom. The night of November 9th, 1989, proved one simple truth. When ordinary people stand together peacefully, they can change the course of history.
The Lost Wallet. One evening, Ahmed was walking home after a long day at work. He was tired and thinking about his plans for the weekend. As he walked along a quiet street, he noticed a black wallet on the ground near a bus stop. Ahmed stopped and picked it up. Inside the wallet, there was some money, an ID card, and a few bank cards. The name on the ID card was Daniel Brown. For a moment, Ahmed thought about keeping the money because he needed it. But then he remembered his values and decided to do the right thing. He looked around, but there was no one nearby. Ahmed checked the address on the ID card and saw that Daniel lived not far away. Without hesitation, he decided to go there. When Ahmed arrived, he knocked on the door. A man opened it and looked surprised. Ahmed asked, "Are you Daniel Brown?" The man smiled and said yes. Ahmed gave him the wallet. Daniel opened it quickly and felt relieved when he saw everything inside. He thanked Ahmed many times and said, I was very worried. This wallet is very important to me. Daniel wanted to give Ahmed some money as a reward, but Ahmed politely refused. He said, "I'm just happy I could help." Ahmed walked away feeling proud and calm. That night, he realized that doing the right thing brings a special kind of happiness.
Weapons have always been a major part of human history. From ancient times to today, they have played a key role in defense, war, and protection. Early weapons like spears, swords, and bows required skill and strength. Battles were close and personal. The invention of gunpowder changed everything. Firearms and cannons allowed armies to fight from a distance, making battles more strategic. During the industrial era, weapons could be produced faster and in larger numbers. This included machine guns, long-range artillery, and stronger firearms. In modern times, technology has become the main factor in weapon development. Missiles and artillery shells can hit distant targets with high precision. Tanks and armored vehicles combine firepower, protection, and mobility, allowing soldiers to operate in different terrains like deserts, forests, or cities. The development of weapons brings both benefits and risks. While advanced weapons can protect countries and maintain security, they also increase the potential for destruction. International agreements help regulate their use to prevent misuse. Weapons show human innovation and progress, but they also remind us of responsibility. Proper use and control are essential to keep technology safe and useful for society.